Sweet. I didn't record any of it. So now I'm recording it. Okay. So using the force vectors, that's all right. Here's the math on how you're going to solve for that centered balance. Obviously, when we talk about the changes in the spring, we can see how we're going to figure out using the torque equation of effectively how much torque is going to be required. And then the angular momentum, angular inertia, and the angular acceleration. How we're going to figure out that angle that an object was fired at. Overall, what formula we're going to use to figure out. Notice since it's 20% closer, it means we're only going to multiply it by 0.8. It means it's going to be just 80% of its initial length. And then we've got the inertia and how we're just going to go and show the change. So aka it's going to be 1/4 of what it was initially. We're going to put both these two together once we factor them on through for the total amount. And then remember, as we bend forward, we're going to have a greater amount of shearing force in the back because of those vectors, as opposed to straight compression where we're standing upright, bending forward. The force vector, gravity's pulling us straight down. So part of it is showing up by shearing us forward, part of it is showing up by compressing, but less compression, more shear. Guys, any questions you guys want to go through for the exam? Everything's up and online now, so you guys can take your individual one. It's going to be open, I think it's until like Saturday morning. And then once you go ahead and finish that, the idea is you're going to get together with your group. You guys are going to take that together. If you don't like your group, that's fine. Just go ahead and take it on your own a second time. And then just the math component of it, that's open separately. Now the math component, you've got a lot more time. Obviously, the part that's just multiple choice, a little bit of short answer, that's gonna be a lot shorter. So make sure you pay attention to the clock and that you guys stay on top of that. What else would you guys like me to talk about?
How does the centripetal force change when velocity of rotation doubles and the mass is decreased by half?
Sweet. So we got right here, okay? So now with our centripetal force, what we're effectively looking at is going to be the mass times the radius times, damn, you autocorrect, mass times radius, not momentum. Ooh, can I get fancy? I'm gonna get fancy here. Yeah. I've been waiting so long for me to actually be able to use the lowercase w. I don't want Latin. I want a non-dead language was Greek. There we go. I think that's probably our best bet. Yeah. Boom. And to the second power. Okay. So let's just figure, we're going to put in just arbitrary numbers here. So change when the velocity of rotation doubles and the mass decreases by half. So we're going to say each of these is going to be 1. So 1 times 1 times 1, and the last one is going to be the second power. And 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, cool. So then we're going to go ahead and notice we're going to say mass decreases by half. So now I've got 0.5. We're going to multiply that by, notice the radius doesn't change, so that's still 1. We're going to multiply that by velocity. So velocity here is going to go ahead and double. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 0.5 is 2, and then obviously times 1 is still 2. So in that example, it turns out we're going to actually still have doubled our total centripetal force. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What else do you guys want to go and talk about? You guys doing okay out there? I'm not talking about class. I'm talking about the wonderful, life on, social isolation. Because this sucks. Not a fan.
I'm going crazy.
Yeah. It's like the good news is because I've been very bored and walking around a lot by myself. And you guys ever gone out to the guy, was it like the Taylor Fork area? It's just past the Woodship Trail on the campus. So when you guys finally get a chance to go back there, there is a hill that is seemingly like 200 freaking yards long and like a good solid, like I'd say almost 30-degree angle. I plan on running that as many times as it takes me to realize it was a horrible decision, probably sometime soon, just to help A, burn calories, and B, make me feel like I've done something. I imagine the number's probably going to be one, maybe two, because there's not much else to do. Other than, the whole grading, teaching, cleaning the house. But yeah, welcome to my home, by the way. Here's the exciting green room. As you can tell, what is behind me is not what I wanted. There's my wife's elliptical. Go figure, I don't really touch it. And then, yeah, go figure the posters are more mine. So had a lot of time to clean. That's kind of fun. Mounted a TV to the wall yesterday, so that's the monitor. That's why I keep staring up to the side, because that's where I see everything. And then the pets, they have grown tired of me. Norbert got a little walk this morning before I plugged in. What else do you guys want to review? Anything else you guys want to talk about the class? Expectations with the lab? I know some folks were asking about the vertical jump lab because it was a little game. I've got that open now until April. That was on my bad. I had it set so the due date was April 19th, but the date in which you could still see the tab was until the 19th of March. So that was wrong. So now it's also kicked back to April. The videos online of me kind of doing a vertical jump and putting the data up so you can see everything you need. How you guys, I know you guys probably haven't had a chance to really think about those group projects, but make sure you guys are on top of it to the best of your ability. And if you don't have a way to video that skill anymore, let me know. Like, have one person from the group email everybody, including me, on there, and be like, we don't have a video. I have no idea how the heck we're going to do this with the confines of what we have. We'll try to figure out something that's going to work.
Where do you have on the YouTube channel? Where are the videos at? Like, what's the name under just your name?
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Let me switch some tabs up. Okay. That's not what I wanted to do. Well, sure. You guys can see all the things that I'm looking at. So we go over to my mediocre channel. Okay. Now from here, let's go ahead, and I'm trying to figure out. I think what you guys want to go ahead and do. Well, there you go. You can see the things that I listen to and I watch. It's really not that great. Okay, so if you guys go over to Biomechanics Spring 2020 lectures, and it's going to have everything that we've put up so far. So you've got the different labs, and then you've got the reviews and everything else put up so that you guys can go ahead and look through it. And what's great is, notice it tells me how many views that everything has, which is great whenever I realize that, go figure, I've got the 7 total videos, but only 21 of, they've only been watched 21 times, and there's more than that than the number of people in the class. But it's just math, who cares? But you should be able to, click on whatever you want. It'll come up and give you the very mediocre presentation of myself looking more and more disheveled as we go through it. And it actually automatic records me, so that's why I always look confused in the beginning. And then it'll probably hop ahead, yeah, to where now we've got things set up so you can kind of see the lecture of everything that's going on. Does that make sense, Tyler?
Yeah.
So any other things you guys want to review or talk about for kind of expectations and kind of how things are going? So that way, you know, it's out there. You guys don't have to worry about it.
For the passing the volleyball group, I was gonna try to get into the gym, but with us being on lockdown, is it okay if I have to video it outside
Yeah, just
the skill instead of it being on the court?
yeah, just do your best. My advice for you, depending on kind of try to put like either your house or you know something that's more solid in the background, so that way
Okay.
you know you can kind of tell. Figure the overhead shot is probably you know shot to heck and gone for now, but you can at least do something you know straight on and then do something in the profile. You just yeah try to arrange it to the best of your ability. Good news is
Okay.
with social distancing, it makes videoing people very easy. Problem is turns out all those things that we were hoping to take advantage of, like you know using the rec center, using Begley and so on, so you guys can shoot videos there. That's kind of in the past. Like obviously, you know, don't go to campus. You know, move out, be home, be safe. But boy howdy, campus is. It makes me think of summer, only worse. In that, like, there's nobody around, and it's strange. I don't like it. But you know, then again, there's a couple other things I found out because I've been very bored walking around campus. But anything I say right now is currently being recorded, and that's technically considered self-incrimination. So I'm not going to tell you about how I may or may not have found the way to get on top of certain roofs on campus. So, any other questions you guys have for the exam? Anything else you guys want to go through? Like this review, it really is meant to be pretty straightforward on kind of giving you an idea of what's going to show up. Now, obviously, there's going to be variations. You know, not everything's going to be the exact same plug and play, but it's applying the same type of logic to it. And you know, so make sure that you really think your way through. And specifically, when we come down here, is always focus on what we're actually asking for. Okay, all we're looking for here is the angular acceleration. So we're not interested in its inertia, we're not interested in its momentum, but notice I gave you all the information so you could do any of those. All we're interested here is how fast does it accelerate? So if we have its initial speed and we have its final speed, we just have to take that final, subtract the initial, and then divide it by the number of seconds it took to make that change. And there's your average acceleration during that period of time. So, you know, just make sure you're specifically answering what the question is. Now, when you look up, you guys are going to see the what angle was an object fired at if it hits the ground. Well, notice we had to solve for both the horizontal and the vertical velocity so that we could get the actual angle. And that's where you would solve for it. So you just do the inverse tangent of 9.81 divided by 25. Now, the thing where people might mess it up, not mess it up, but they could do an extra step. Like, okay, well, if we got horizontal velocity, we got vertical velocity, we can do the good old fashioned a squared plus b squared equals c squared and get the initial velocity. But notice I'm not asking for it. So you're giving yourself more work that is just possibly some more steps you could maybe mess up and get the wrong answer with. So instead, just focus on answering the question with specifically what's asked. Yeah, Norbs, I know, buddy. We went for a little walk last night, went for a walk today. I know your life is pain. You comfortable there on the couch? Doing good? You know, mom wants to replace you. She's texting me about getting a puppy this morning. You ready for that? Love is finite. You're going to get less of it. Nurse, here, buddy. Come on. Come on, nurse. Come on. Come on. You got distracted by the cat. Hey, buddy, come on. Yes. Say hello to Norbert. Norbert. Yes. Look at the students. No, I will not make out with you. Tinks, you are in the danger zone, girl. You do not want this attention right now, because when Norbert comes down, he will squash you. All right. Come on, Dum Dum. Sorry, the reason I call Tinks dumb, okay, she's trying to play with Norbert. We've got two cats. She's a little, oh, she's like 12 pounds. She's a part Maine Coon, so she's a big cat. But literally, all of our like blind strings are up high because she loves to chew them. I've literally come home twice to her trying to swallow an entire one of those strings, but the plastic cap at the end is like sticking out of her mouth because it turns out she can't swallow the plastic cap. And literally, it's like starting a miniature lawnmower. You grab the string and pull out like 5 inches of it because the plastic keeps her from fully getting it down. And then she goes and tries to eat the damn string again. She's cute. She's just not very smart. All right, so now that I've brought my animals into it to try to find a way to get better teaching reviews, what questions, anything else on the quiz? Or not quiz, but the exam, expectations for how it's going to go down this weekend, and then go from there. Obviously, I expect you guys to work together on the group, and I expect you to work together on the take-home math. But remember, the individual, I want you guys to do it on your own, okay? Now, obviously, we're definitely doing this kind of, you know, on your own honor and otherwise, but do keep in mind, guys, whenever you submit a exam, it timestamps it. So if everybody somehow submits their exam at the exact same time, that's a little sketchy. So obviously, I've now made it a little bit more thorough on how you can try and cheat, or it's going to take some extra steps. But, you know, guys, I want you guys to do well. Try not to take advantage of the situation. But at the same time, let's make sure we all get you guys through this to the best of our ability. Anything else? Otherwise, you know, tell you guys to have a great day, and, you know, we'll be back to lecturing and or, you know, I'll go through the exam on, on what would be Tuesday.
So the individual exam is due on Saturday, correct? And then the group test is due when?
The group test, I believe I've got that set up so that it is due on, yeah, Tyler's got all this stuff screwed up. I was doing grading for other classes, so I'm making sure that I don't show you guys how the people for Walking for Wellness are still walking for wellness, so they're going to pass the class. Turns out that one's really easy to put online. Yoga's been a little bit more complicated. Sorry about that, Tyler.
You're good.
I'm sure you guys were really looking forward to a video of me doing yoga being sent to you guys.
Yeah, I was waiting for it, but
Yeah, also known as it haunts your nightmares and your dreams. Okay, so all right, so yeah, your group one opens on Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it's going to stay open until Monday at 1 o'clock. Okay. And then, sorry, I got to scroll through each time to make sure that I got all this stuff set up correctly. And then the math only is actually going to open up today at 10:30. And then that's going to be open all the way through the 31st at 9:30 in the morning. So AKA it's going to be open all the way up until literally when we come back to lecture again on next Tuesday morning. So you guys have got plenty of time, because obviously a lot of things have gone really weird. I know a lot of you guys, that's going to be the ones that are listening to this later, they have to work more because, you know, they're back home and they are essential. Like my wife, she works over in Jessamine County in the health department, and she's been having to work more than usual, which causes its own anxiety for herself. And, you know, whereas I'm getting to enjoy house arrest and playing with our animals. So you guys get to meet Bahama. He's the best damn pet we have, but he's he's an older cat, so he doesn't really tolerate my nonsense anymore. He just kind of lays around. He's awesome. So, what are the questions? I know London's in here. Colleen? Yeah, London, any questions?
No, you're good.
No? Sam, no questions?
Nope.
Okay, same thing, Madison, Catherine, Katie, Sydney, everybody's good?
I'm good.
Imani? I think I picked on everybody now. Oh, Bailey. Okay, well, guys, if you're good to go, yeah, like I said, everything's been pretty straightforward. Just make sure you read the questions and you really think it through. You know, some of the stuff obviously is going to be very similar to what you guys have seen on the quizzes already, but then other questions are going to be, you know, new or, you know, very different than what you've seen before. So just because you've seen a question that looks like it, still reread it to make sure that obviously I'm not asking the opposite of what you had answered beforehand, so you don't go on autopilot. And then make sure that obviously you're answering specifically what's being asked on each of those questions, because, you know, I'm not trying to be incredibly tricky, but instead I'm trying to, come on, Bahamut. Sorry, I just walked on by. He's too big to him. That's it, I'm gonna go grab him. Yeah, best pet we have. Here's the Bahamut monster. He is legitimately 15 pounds and he is not fat. Yeah, likes to sleep between the wife and I at night. Norbert is terrified of him because he used to beat him up when he was a kid, didn't you? Didn't you? Yes. Norbert, we live in the county, bud. There's nothing dangerous here. I don't know, I guess he's seeing people that aren't washing their hands. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Now that I made you guys actually, you know, be introduced to the other cat we have. Yeah. All right, well, guys, be safe out there. Make sure you're doing okay. If you have questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And then, you know, for bioenergetics, I've been having people just post questions they want me to kind of answer, and I just shoot little videos. If there's something like that that you guys want me to go ahead and shoot little videos of questions of, don't hesitate to just shoot me an email, and then I'll put that up eventually also on YouTube so you guys can go ahead and look at it. So, good luck. All right, I need to get to the mouse, buddy. All right, guys. Be safe out there. And miss you guys. And I will talk with you guys hopefully in the future in person.